Thank you. My name is Gary Cameron and I work for College Development Network, which is the support agency for the colleges in Scotland. I feel a bit of a fraud up here because although I kind of have responsibility for the project, it's really Jackie and all the partners that do the hard work. So I'm going to kick off by just giving you a quick overview of why this project came about and why the potential is so good. When I was preparing this, I thought about calling it two things. First of all, it's the good, the bad and the ugly. Good being it's a sound concept. I've heard all the arguments from here today. It certainly is a sound concept. The bad is, like we've heard this morning, there are some structural, organisational and attitudinal barriers still around open sharing. And the ugly, well, I'll leave you to make up your mind about the presenter and the content of what you're going to hear. The other one was untying the Gordian knot. I'd like to think that College Development Network were the Alexander who were releasing the vehicle and cutting the knot. The Alexander the Great just took quick, decisive action, cut through the Gordian knot, all the hassle around it, and released the vehicle. Resource is a repository that is the vehicle, which I think has huge potential, but it's a very small piece of the open educational resources agenda. But it is a good platform and it's a good concept. So I just wanted to share with you a wee bit around that. I think what would untie the Gordian knot for the college sector is if the Scottish Government come out with a clear statement, like Lorna said earlier, around OER. I think that would be the quick, decisive and probably drastic action that's required for it to certainly give the fuel injection and the turbo drive for the college sector. So why is a repository really quite a fortuitous time for the college sector at this time? We have a new regional sector, regional colleges, funding's on a regional basis through the regional outcome agreements. Arguably, like the HE sector and schools, the time is right for colleges to open up their educational content. Colleges are busy aligning their curriculum to the economic and employer demands of the region, particularly with an emphasis on small to medium sized businesses as well as the global businesses. And I suppose lastly, it's part of shared service resource. Our repository could be the big success story of shared services and quality and efficiency. Why should we have 13 or 14 regional colleges, each with their own repository? Surely a national platform, that vehicle, is the solution. And I suppose if the government do come out with a clear position statement, the college senior managers will suddenly wake up and say, what do we do about this? Well, something has been done about it, and I suppose for us it's a message of communication to say that it's there and the vehicle is there. So what is the good about an open repository? We're all aware of the benefits of open sharing. Colleges tell us that they want high quality resources for repurposing, reworking and reformatting, with all the copyright stuff done and all this stuff around Creative Commons licensing. I was reading the Hewlett Foundation report that Dr. Cable Green sent through. He was mentioned this morning, and he said it's about 4 R's. It's rework, reuse, remix, and what's the other one? Forgot. I like to think about that. Okay. But College Development Network resources developed through project activity are now published under open licenses. Any funding that we get, any public funding, any resources that are developed are published under the Creative Commons license, and it's there for access. Existing resources are being updated and relicensed under open licenses as appropriate. That's a huge bit of work. I mean, I know there's thousands and thousands of good, high-quality college resources out there. It's not, as you know, it's not just a matter of migrating that content. We're starting small, but there's a power of work to be done around reworking that and repurposing it so it's published under correct licenses. It's been a hugely strong partnership approach. It's a door-empowered window on the college sector, providing access to creations and collections in there. But we've had huge support through our engagement and strategy group from some of the key players, Education Scotland, SQA, college sector, and in particular the Librarians Network. The Librarians Network have a huge role to play, and they've done a lot of work to support us around some of the copyright stuff, and they formed a copyright working group and have produced some really sound information to help develop the confidence of the sector to say, here's resource, we will upload and we will share the resources. And so a very strong partnership approach. If I've missed somebody out, I do apologise, but it has been very much a partnership approach. Focus is now on collection creation. One thing we are working towards, the HN Care and Practice, is a qualification that all the colleges in Scotland will be delivering. Here's a golden opportunity to get the right resources in one central place for all the colleges to access, where it's published under Creative Commons and it's open and it can be for art, if you like, reworked, repurposed, remixed and reused. I mean, it's such a simple solution, but it's how we do that. It's about convincing people and winning hearts and minds. And of course, Open Scotland Summit have some really good ideas in there, which have helped us move it forward in the sector. What's the not so good around an open repository in our sector? Reaching senior managers and curriculum managers as well, who have the visions published under open licence. You know, I mean, you know that these arguments have been well rehearsed. We need support to facilitate OER and to give people confidence to upload and share their work on the resource. We are very, very small. We are starting small with the content creation, and it is very much about winning hearts and minds. They're not at all good. We do have structural, organisational, attitudinal barriers for adoption of OER. As I say, the Gordy knot could be sliced through if the government took decisive and drastic action to really move this forward. There's lack of recognition for college staff who may consider developing and publishing open educational resources. We really need to give it that fuel injection to actually award good practice and celebrate the success where college staff have had the confidence to upload and share. And that's a message for us as a national organisation, College Development Network, to move that one forward. But at the moment, we do lack a planned, managed, supported and encouraged process. But that's where the resource, our Joe-empowered window, with a focus on the college sector, can certainly move the agenda forward. However, resource has the potential to be a massive success story in the new regional structure if we win those hearts and minds. We know what needs to happen to continue the discussion started at the Open College Summit. We've got that information. The vehicle is there. And I'm working on the Principals Forum at the moment, which is the body where all the college principals come together. I've given them a paper to say, look, this is something you have to consider, given both the national and world developments in OER. We are starting small. We're a very tiny piece of the OER engine, but I think it does have the potential to move the OER agenda forward. Got a lot of good brains in this room who are very knowledgeable and skilled, and I've picked up a lot of things in the presentations this morning. We'll be around, but I'd like some more of your suggestions to help. So if you've got any ideas at all, then please just have a chat with me over lunch or at some point during the day. So that's just a little bit of background about our repository, what we're trying to do, and the potential that it does have. But we're a long way from getting that massive success story that is needed. So I'm now going to hand over to Jackie Graham, my colleague. Jackie is she did all the setting up with the partners, has done all the technical stuff, looked at Moodle plugins, looked at setting up the blog, WordPress, and she's done a pound of work. So she's just going to take 5 minutes to actually show you what the front pages of Resource look like and what's sitting behind it. So Jackie.
project, the consultation stages, and we're also involved in some of the management and engagement groups as the project progresses. So for some of you it will be very familiar, but for others, hopefully it'll give you a quick introduction to the site. The front page that you see here is a WordPress blog. So as you see there, there's just some bits and pieces of the latest blogs there, and there's some buttons here that will take you through to the repository side of the site. If you click on the join the conversation, you can see some of the blogs here. And we have blogs about new resources that have come online, new collections, some anything interesting which is of interest to the FE community in terms of open resources. You're very welcome to blog within this area. Some of the blogs will link through to resources sitting within the repository, but I'll go back and I'll briefly show you the structure of the site. So this site is available at resourceshare.ac.uk. And this part here is the eSpace repository, which sits as a sub-site of Jorum. It's been very, with it being open source software and having the benefit of the Jorum partnership, it's been incredibly cheap to put together and run this in comparison to a commercial repository. We have some communities and collections here, which you'll see there are the College Development Network, Open Resources, College Development Network, Resources Licensed to Colleges, and we have collections for the other stakeholders and partners of colleges, the Jisc, SQE and the SCQF. The SQA are currently working on a migration of some of their resources. So you'll see some history resources going into there shortly. You might wonder why there's a collection there of resources licensed to colleges, and it's very much this project grew out of an earlier project for the colleges in Scotland, which was Colleague. It was an organisation which was subscription based, and their colleges paid an annual sum which went towards the development of resources, and then these were shared out to the membership community. And the licence that was applied to that meant that these resources were free and able to be adapted and reused by the college community. As it turned out, Colleague and SFEU merged and became Scotland's colleges, and then reorganised further. But as the membership and the subscription model changed, it meant that we had to look at a different way of dealing with our educational resources. So there was a move at that point to move to a more open way of delivery. So from that point on, new resources developed for projects were released under Creative Commons licenses. And any of these older resources which were migrated over from previous collections, as these are being updated, as Gary said, these are being re-released under Creative Commons licenses. Within the site, I'll just show you how a search will sit within the sub-site. So say if we look for care, for instance. So this is searching our site here, resource. So these are all things which have been uploaded by the college community in Scotland. But what we can also do here, as it sits within Jorum, you can expand the search so it will bring back similar resources within that much wider site, so you get access to a wider set of collections with that. And here you can see some of the communities within Jorum that these resources are coming from. And you can see the search results has jumped there up to over 1,000 within that particular area. So you could narrow down your search, say it was animal care, etc. And resources from Jorum there. So it's a site which, within it, all the resources have been classified and categorised according to SCQF levels and the Scottish superclasses. You'll also be able to find things according to their SQA unit codes. So it's very much a window for the Scottish college community, which provides a focal point for resources being shared out to that community, and for the community themselves, if there's anything they wish to share as an individual or whether a college wishes to make some collections available. This is a vehicle to do it through. So just basically to go back to collections. If anybody would like to create some new collections with us, or transfer some collections, or create links to collections they hold elsewhere, they can do this using resource, and certainly myself or Gary Campbell would be happy to be a contact for you if you'd like to do that. So if I could just finish there, hopefully not run on too much time, and I'll pass over to Sarah, who's been at the other side of the
Hi everybody. So I'm going to take a sort of step back and talk a bit about Jorum, which is national, as in UK-wide open repository. And I'm not going to do the standard Jorum presentation. I'm just going to be talking mostly about new stuff that's coming. New stuff around the idea of the openness of the repository, as well as the resources. But for those who are new to Jorum, I'll have one slide on that. It's a free and open national, UK national service for sharing and finding OERs relevant to UK higher education, further education, and the skills sector. It's a trusted source of quality OERs for the UK post-16 sector. It's a robust, safe, sustainable hosting platform for your OERs, and it's also an international showcase. We get a lot of visits from around the world. So if you're wanting to showcase your OERs, it's a good place to be. Before I get on to the other stuff, we have some quite big news at Jorum. For those that are part of our Jorum community, I'll quickly run through this. Dr. Jackie Carter, long-time director of Jorum, is moving on to other things, and I am as well. We're both not going to be involved with Jorum anymore after December this year. I'm going to really embarrass my new boss. If you look at the back, she puts her hand up. Dr. Susanna Boyle has joined us. She's going to be a new full-time MIMAS senior manager for learning and teaching. Jackie Carter used to only be half-time on learning and teaching, so Jisc has shown a lot of confidence in what MIMAS does in the learning and teaching and EdTech sector by increasing the funding we have to have a full-time senior manager, which is very exciting. So Jorum will be under Susanna's remit. I just noted that Susanna, one of her former roles is at Robert Gordon University, just so that you all know that even though I'm leaving as the only Scottish person working for Jorum, we're getting a new Scottish person working for Jorum, just to make sure that Scottish needs are included. Just as an aside, my role is being advertised. It's now being called OER Service Manager. It closes this week, in case anyone here is interested in applying. Come see me at lunchtime if you are as well, I can chat to you about it. And the other big news is Jisc is taking MIMAS in-house, so all of MIMAS' employees, including Jorum employees, will be Jisc employees from August next year, but there will be no change to the Jorum service. Okay, so I've said that Jorum is a platform for sharing and finding open educational resources. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're building around that. So some of the requirements beyond Jorum's core service includes institutions, groups like College Development Network and so on, often want their own space online for their own OERs, their own repository, their own website to showcase their OERs and provide a sharing space. But it's very expensive to do that, and the last 10 years have really shown that there hasn't been much survival of individual institutional OER repositories and whatnot. So we've offered, to support the community, we've got this new initiative called Jorum Powered, which has 3 options in it. The first one is the Jorum subsite, which you've just seen. The resource repository is an example of a fully featured repository subsite. Fully featured means you get to control the collections, metadata, you can upload to it. You don't need anyone at Jorum to do that. But as Jackie said, it's got all of Jorum's collections behind it and just pulls out the ones that are relevant to you. The Jorum window is more of a customizable website. You don't have any of that admin stuff behind the scenes where you get to adjust collections or change your workflow. I'll show you in a minute. Jorum API support. If you have the technical know-how in-house to do something yourself with our API, you can get technical support from us if you want it. So you've seen resource. I've put a link in there in case anyone just finds this set of slides. I don't need to go to it now. Durham window. Currently we are working with the University of Leeds on the first ever Durham window, and I will show you a screenshot in a moment. We've got a page on our website about stuff for developers around Durham that you can look at as well. So this is just a screenshot of an image based on a wireframe of what we're working on for the University of Leeds. Yes, that is the University of Leeds colour, it's not a mistake, it is all black and grey. But that is the University of Leeds branding. You'll see on the left, you can browse by subject, browse by individual faculties within Leeds, and go straight to upload your resources. But everything that you see in there is in Durham. So, as with Jackie, you can see you can either select just search University of Leeds resources and get your search results, or include all of Durham in your search. And just other links, and down the right hand side you can have all kinds of things in there. Like for instance, I've got a link to your iTunes U site, but you could actually have a wee blog that actually highlights new resources on your iTunes U, anything you do with the website basically. Okay, and talk a little bit about how Durham's interacting with communities of practice. So two really good recent examples of that are the research data management community and the information literacy community. We've worked with the Jisc managing MDR, I can never get that right. Anyway, the research data management community includes a section of mainly librarians who are training people in how to manage their research data. They have OERs about that, so they wanted a collection of those to be managed within Durham. So we've set up that collection, and then all the librarians who are involved in these great info literacy communities of practice around Copilot. Delilah said we really need an information literacy community as well. It's really hard to find information literacy stuff in Durham the way it's currently structured. So I hope now this link's going to work. I'll show you what these look like. Just give it a minute. Please be working. Okay, so that's gone wrong here. I did do a screenshot. Right. Okay, what you're need to see is on the Durham page, you've got these facets that you can open on the right hand side, and the communities on the right, everything higher education, everything further education. College Development Network is all of the resources that are in the resource repository you've already seen. So if you're coming in through Durham, you can have your access to those. Information and digital literacy skills being announced today. It's really got 42 resources in it. And research data management, quite a small collection of 19 resources, but important to the people who are using that. Important enough for them to have done a project around it. It's behaving itself again. Right, there's something to do with the setup here that's stopping that. What, George? Wait, no, I know, it's something to do with this. Yeah, I've seen it before. It's something to do with cookies or something. It's extremely annoying, but anyway, I'll do the screenshot. What you can see, because I can't show it to you, is that when you click on one of those, you get your results list, and then you can further refine it by institution, keyword, file format, creative commons license, and so on. Durham.ac.uk, if you're on a device, I invite you to just have a look and have a play around while you're here. Another thing we're doing to try and get our resources more embedded in the community is our #LoveOER project. So we're getting learning and teaching experts out of the community to recommend specific OERs that are held in Durham. We're offering £75 vouchers, so anybody here feels like you want to go in and find 5 resources in Durham that you can heartfelt recommend, you can earn a £75 voucher. The first curated collection, hopefully this will come up because it's just a website, yes. Subjects aligned to medicine, lovely Bex Faraday from Cardiff University, and that's all she's done. She's selected 5 resources that she has found extremely useful in learning and teaching. And she's just written a little blurb on each one, and then we've put that page together so that people who are interested in that subject area can go and find something that people have actually recommended. I would really like to get some people based in Scotland to contribute to this, so please do push this out and remind people that they can earn a £75 voucher and get in touch with us. Finally, the much awaited Jorum API, which has taken longer than I'd hoped, but it's going to be a Christmas present to the community. It's got its own page on the website. There's going to be really good documentation and examples. We've already developed all of that. We're going to hopefully do a workshop, hands-on workshop at next year's OER 14 conference with our developers there. Really, you don't have to be an actual developer to use it. That's why we've developed the support documentation. If you run your own WordPress blog, or you know enough about HTML to manage your own website, you should be able to do something like expose everything in a collection that you're interested in. For instance, take a tag. If you're tagging a project you're working on, you could expose anything in that project in your website, or even just created by you. If you've got your own blog somewhere and you want your stuff safely held in Jorum with all the other resources where people can find it anywhere in the world, but you just want to highlight those resources in your own web page, you can use the API to do that. And the API will allow you to showcase Jorum's OER usage data too. I didn't even touch on that. There's a whole reporting usage data feature in the current Jorum interface as well. So that's it. Probably would have taken longer if I had managed to get Jorum to display on this machine, but if you have any questions, if you're looking at it on your own devices and you want to ask me anything over lunch, please do come see me.
Thanks, Sarah.